As I stepped on my flight, the flight attendant gave me a strange list of rules. I'd been standing in the security line for 40 minutes, watching businessmen check their watches and families wrangle screaming toddlers. My flight to Seattle was supposed to be routine. 6 hours, a connecting flight, then home for my sister's wedding. I hadn't slept properly in 3 days, my eyes burning from staring at spreadsheets until 2 in the morning. The promotion at work had come with a price. Everything had a price. I shuffled toward gate B17 with my carry-on dragging behind me, the wheels squeaking against the polished floor. My phone buzzed. Another email from my boss. I ignored it. The gate area was surprisingly empty for such a large flight. Maybe a dozen people scattered across the rows of seats, most of them absorbed in their phones or laptops. Nobody talked. Nobody made eye contact. I found that strange, but I was too exhausted to care. When they called for boarding, I was among the first to line up. The flight attendant at the gate was young, maybe mid-20s, with auburn hair pulled back so tightly it stretched her skin. Her smile seemed painted on, frozen in place like a mannequin's expression. She wore the standard uniform, navy blue with a red scarf, but something about her seemed off. Her movements were too precise, too calculated. When I handed her my boarding pass, her fingers felt ice cold as they brushed against mine. She scanned the pass without looking at the screen, her eyes locked on my face the entire time. "Mr. Garrett," she said, though I hadn't introduced myself. "You're in seat 14C, middle of the cabin." Her smile widened impossibly further. "I have something for you." She reached into a leather folder and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Not the usual safety card or advertisement. This was different. Cream-colored paper, the kind you'd use for a formal letter, folded precisely into thirds. "What is this?" I asked, taking the paper. She leaned closer, her breath cold against my ear. "Read it once you're seated. Don't show anyone else. Don't ask questions. Just follow the rules." Before I could respond, she straightened up and called for the next passenger, her voice suddenly bright and cheerful. I stood there for a moment, confused, before another attendant ushered me down the jet bridge. The paper felt heavier than it should have, like it contained more than just ink and pulp. My heart rate picked up. Something primitive in my brain was screaming at me to turn around, to walk away, to miss this flight, but logic prevailed. I'd paid for this ticket. My sister was getting married. I couldn't let some weird flight attendant spook me with a piece of paper. The plane's interior was dimly lit, the overhead lights casting yellow shadows across empty seats. The cabin smelled wrong. Not the usual mix of recycled air and cleaning chemicals, but something organic, metallic, like blood and copper. I found seat 14C and shoved my bag into the overhead compartment. The seats around me were empty. The entire middle section seemed deserted actually, which was bizarre for a flight that was supposedly fully booked according to the gate agent. I settled into the middle seat, the armrests digging into my sides, and pulled out the folded paper. My hands were shaking. Why were my hands shaking? I unfolded it carefully. The handwriting was rushed, almost frantic, written in black ink that had bled through the paper in some places. Whoever wrote this had pressed down hard, desperate to make sure every word was legible. The title at the top made my stomach drop. "Survival Rules for Flight 237. Read carefully. Your life depends on it." I almost laughed. This had to be a prank. Some elaborate joke for a YouTube channel or a hidden camera show. I glanced around for cameras but saw nothing. The other passengers were boarding now, filing past me without a glance. Rule 1. Check the time on your phone immediately after reading this. All subsequent rules are time-based. You have approximately 4 hours until landing. Do not deviate from the timeline. I checked my phone out of curiosity. 9:47 p.m. The departure time matched my ticket. Fine, I'd play along. Rule 2. During the first hour, 9:47 p.m. to 10:47 p.m., do not speak to anyone. If someone tries to engage you in conversation, ignore them completely. Do not make eye contact. Do not acknowledge their presence. If you speak during this hour, they will know you're human. I felt my pulse quicken. They will know you're human? What kind of prank was this? I continued reading, my eyes scanning faster now. Rule 3. During the second hour, 10:47 p.m. to 11:47 p.m., you may speak if necessary, but if anyone mentions the window or asks you to look outside, refuse. Do not look out the window under any circumstances during this hour. What you see will break your mind. Rule 4. If you hear a baby crying anywhere in the cabin, immediately go to the nearest bathroom and lock yourself inside. Count to 100. Do not come out until the crying stops, no matter what sounds you hear. Do not open the door for anyone, even if they claim to be crew. The baby is not real. Rule 5. If your entertainment screen goes black and begins showing your reflection, look away immediately. Do not stare at it. Do not try to interact with it. Your reflection will start moving independently after 17 seconds. If you watch it for more than 30 seconds, it will crawl out. Rule 6. During the third hour, 11:47 p.m. to 12:47 a.m., the captain will make an announcement. Listen carefully and follow the instructions exactly as stated. Do not interpret. Do not improvise. The captain is the only crew member who is still human. That's when I made the biggest mistake of my life.